What's up YouTube, PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver you our Week 1 matchup here in the PFL. This week we are taking on a longtime rival of ours in Scott and the Thriller Bark Trevenants, and he drafted one hell of a team. He always drafts amazingly, and this is no different. This is going to be one hell of a team to beat. His team consists of Jirachi, Hippowdon, Whimsicott, Chandelure, Flygon, which is one of his Z users, Golbat, Mega Aerodactyl, Keldeo, Magnezone, Sharpedo, and Stoutland, which is one of his other Z users. So, a couple things to discuss about the team. First off, he has a Sand Core. He has his definite Sand usage with the Hippowdon, giving the Sand and the Spadef boost to his Mega Aerodactyl. I think I said Aggron before. If I did, I apologize. Giving the defense boost, the special defense to his Mega Aerodactyl, as well as giving the Sand Rush potential for his Stoutland. So that is definitely going to be a pain in the ass to take care of, because, you know, that makes his fucking arrow fatter than it should be, and I don't like it. Still not totally sure how I'm going to beat that, but we'll figure it out. But so that's going to be annoying. Flygon is a Z user / defogger / everything. Is very, very versatile. It's going to be a big pain in the ass to deal with that. Magnezone is a problem because it can trap our Celesteela, which is hugely annoying. I don't really want my Celesteela getting trapped, so we had to prep for that potential situation happening, which I don't like either, to be honest. Yeah. And Sharpedo, if it gets speed boosts, can be annoying. Keldeo's annoying always. Keldeo can do a bunch of different things, and I don't like Keldeo. Scarfarachi, I didn't really... To be honest, I really just didn't have a dedicated just thing for Scarfarachi. I don't have much of a dedicated way of beating Scarfarachi on my team. Like, looking through my roster, there's just not much that can do it, because if it just flinches everything down, then it doesn't matter. Like, I could bring Fizdef, Emboar, or something along those lines, but it doesn't matter if he's just going to flinch it the whole way down. So, and Emboar actually just has a bad matchup this week. Between Flashfire, Chandelure, or Chandelure in general, just being able to switch into both of its stabs without even caring, as well as him having things like the Keldeo / Sharpedo, which don't really switch in, but like they can, as well as the Powdon and Mega Arrow, which can switch in pretty easily to my Fire Stab. Like, Emboar just doesn't have a really good matchup. A lot of things just fuck him up. But regardless, just really, really tough matchup. But I think I found a chink in his armor, and I think that's in the fact that he doesn't have a Clericmon of any kind. Whimsicott does not get Aromatherapy, contrary to what I would have believed. I would have expected it to. But it does not get Aromatherapy. As well as his Jirachi does not get Heal Bell. I always actually thought that Jirachi did get Heal Bell. There's a lot of different options with his team. Like, it's very, very versatile, and it's just annoying, but he doesn't have Cleric. So the goal is going to be to spread status on his team as best as I can, and hopefully through doing that I can whittle his team down with some of my bulkier threats, or some of my bulkier mons, and just stall him down. I hate having that's the strategy, but that's why I'm bringing 4 bulky mons this week, because I just need to stall him. Like, there's nothing else I can really do. It's my best bet against him. But one of our non-bulky mons. we're bringing our Mega Manectric, obviously, to week 1. The reason why I have it in non-Mega, though, is just so that I don't forget and it doesn't, like, switch to another ability when we go into the game. I want my Manectric to have a Lightning Rod prior to Mega Evolving. Because, number 1, this thing is a good switch into Magnezone, with Celesteela around, or, yeah, with Steela on the team. I think that this thing is an amazing switch-in. With all the HP investment, it can take a Flash Cannon very well. I feel like, if anything, he may run HP Ground, but, like, going for HP Ground on Celesteela is kind of risky, especially if he has a choice set. So I can't really see him going for that. I mean, if he does, then kudos to him for that play, because that was a really smart play on his part. But besides that, I think this is a good switch into the Magnezone. It can help protect our Celesteela pretty nicely. Even after Mega Evolving, it's still a good switch in, just doesn't have that immunity to stop him from Volt Switching on us, which is kind of annoying, but we can make do with that. Like, it's not too big of a deal. We can get through the Magnezone without too much issue, I think. Volt Switch, HP Ice, Flamethrower, and Toxic. We have the Flamethrower to hit the Magnezone. Toxic is kind of important because the things he would want to bring in on this are like the Flygon, the Whimsicott potentially, but not like as big of a thing because it might not want to catch that Flamethrower. And the Hippowdon especially. Hippowdon especially is something that I could see him bringing in on this, and I want to get that thing Toxic. Because, yeah, he can slack off, yeah, he can do a whole lot of things, but if I can get a Toxic on that thing, I think that could be really, really helpful for us in this matchup. So, the goal is to try to get Toxics on as many mons on his team as I can, by the looks of things, outside of Rachi and Magnezone and Golbat. I won't have too much trouble doing that. HP Ice is there for that Flygon. If I can predict it properly or get in on the right time, I can HP Ice that thing and just knock it out and just get rid of it, which is really, really nice. Volt Switch is just going to be there to gather us momentum. If I can get the Toxic on the Hippowdon, I can almost... If I can get rid of the Hippowdon, I can pretty much almost freely Volt Switch. If he brings both Hippowdon and Flygon, that's a good prep on him. But it's also going to be doubling up on a lot of weaknesses on his team, and I don't think he can really afford to do that. So we'll see how that goes. But I think this is an overall really solid start to the team for this week. It outspeeds, as a Mega, it will outspeed up to the Whimsicott. Yeah, this outspeeds Whimsicott when it's Mega, so that's pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, go Manectric. Great mon. Love Manectric. And also with the Intimidate plus that HP investment, actually can take a hit or two from a few different things on his team, which is cool. This thing can also takes a shit ton of hits from Jirachi, which is nice. Thanks to the Intimidation. Yeah, but that's Bolt Doggo. Next up we have Symmetrical, one of our most potent offensive threats this week. The Cryogonal. Choice Specs with Levitate. Levitate is very important because he has some Earthquake spammy mons in like Hippowdon and Flygon and stuff. So Levitate's really good against those. And Choice Specs Freeze Dry is going to hurt like a motherfucker. He actually, based upon my coverage, he doesn't really have... the way I've built this mon is made it so that like his switch-ins aren't the best against me. So basically, okay, let's look at it this way. The things that he can switch into me are Jirachi, Chandelure, Magnezone. That's really it. Maybe Stoutland if he wants to. And I can, for a good part of the battle, I'm probably just going to go for knockoffs, so I can get rid of items on those things. It'll actually hit the Chandelure and Jirachi super effective. I know it's not going to do jack shit for damage, because I'm base 50 attack with Timid Nature, but getting rid of the items on those things, especially since neither one's is a user, you know, if I can get rid of a Scarf or something like that, it makes them 1,000 times easier to deal with later in the game. So that's really important. So getting rid of items on things coming in is huge. I really, really need that to happen. And then once we get to a certain point, I can honestly just spam Freeze Dry with this thing and just pick up kills. And if they still have those 3 aforementioned mons still, I can click the Specs HP Ground into a KO all 3 of them, depending on their spreads. I mean, Rachi might not be 2 KO'd, but I think I can 2 KO it. Yeah, I think this mod can do a lot of work for this week, and I'm just excited to use Cryogonal in a more offensive role. I mean, we do have the Rapid Spin, obviously, for the support of having Rapid Spin, but regardless, I think he can be very useful. He can be very, very useful, so that's Cryogonal. And that is basically our entirety of our offense this week. Our offense is very minimal. The rest is just bulk. And bulk number 1 comes from Spoop, the Dusknoir. Spoop is here being basically all physically defensive. All phys def all the time. Now, that being said, there's reasons for that. The reason I am physically defensive on this thing is, 1, it allows me to take hits from literally everything on their team, for the most part, outside of Chandelure, obviously. Outside, like, you know, special attackers. Chandelure, Keldeo, Magnezone, but, like, they have to be, like, hard-hitting special attackers to beat me. Which is cool. We have the Pain Split, so we can get HP back off of things, which is nice. I actually, Shadow Sneak, I want to have the priority to chip things if I knock them down to stashes, or something along those lines. You know, if I can get the Jirachi down low, goes for Wish, and it doesn't have Protect, and I can go for a Shadow Sneak and kill it. Will-O-Wisp is important because I can burn some of his key threats and give them something to whittle them down with. That's kind of where the Colbur Berry comes in. Now, the Colbur Berry can be used against a bunch of different mons, but the one I'm most concerned with burning is the Stoutland, because his sand's going to be a problem for my team. If he doesn't bring sand, then that's even better. I can focus on burning other things. But Stoutland is a threat. A very potent, very annoying threat that I'm really not looking forward to dealing with. So, yeah. I have to... That's why I have the Colbur, because I want to be able to bring Dusknoir in on Stoutland and be able to take a crunch of any variant and burn it, so that I can shut down the Stoutland, and there's no other way for him to sweep me with the Stoutland anymore, and we'll be good to go. So that's what that's there for. I mean, if I can burn other things, that'd be great. But for the most part, I want to toxic other things. I kind of would like to get a burn on the Golbat, just because that is something that I'd like to do. Having Golbat burned would be lovely, so at least it has some form of chip damage to it. Getting rid of its Eviolite will be nice too. I'll have to be I'll have to really focus on getting that done as well. But we also do have the Toxic to toxic certain things. We actually do outspeed his we actually do outspeed the Hippowdon. The 20 EVs in speed allow us to outspeed him in speed in Hippowdon. So we can toxic that thing if it comes in against us, which is nice. And yeah, and if anything wants to try to switch into us as well, we can Toxic it. We can also burn the Jirachi with this very, very easily, and if he doesn't flinch us 15,000 times to death. And burning the Jirachi is also something very, very important to this matchup. If we can burn the Jirachi, then no matter how many times he flinches us, he won't be doing enough damage to warrant any concern of any kind, in my opinion. So that's the plan with that. Next up, we have Finny Nut, the Tapu Fini, and Tapu Fini can do a lot of things for us in this match. First off, we have put a lot of speed investment into it to outspeed his base 80s. That is max speed Stoutland, which is cool to have. Also, the Chandelure we do outspeed, which is cool. We have Nature's Madness, Moonblast, and Knockoff and Surf. I almost wanted to put an AV on this thing, but I needed some form of recovery on it, and I didn't bring Wish Pass this week. Do I even have Wish Pass on my team? No, yeah, I do. Kamala. And I think Celebi gets Wish, but I did not bring Wish Pass this week, so I don't have access to that option of healing my Fini. But the Misty Terrain's going to be nice because he does have a lot of things like Rachi that might want to paralyze some shit. Hippowdon might want to throw Toxics around. Whimsicott might want to try to do things to me. It's all going to be a matter of me playing around my terrain better than he can play around my terrain. Because I have to get the statuses on his mons when my terrain's not around, and make sure that my terrain is around when he tries to status me. So that's going to be the big struggle of this match, is just playing around that. But Nature's Madness is important because obviously he's got things that can switch into me. But due to the lack of Cleric, a lot of those mons don't really have a very easy way of getting themselves healed. He's going to have to regularly Wish Pass with Jirachi if he wants to try to keep his things healthy. So I'm going to try to prevent that as best as I can. Things that can switch into me include like Stoutland to an extent, Golbat obviously, which Golbat I can just hit with a Nature's Madness and then go for the knockoff to get rid of its Eviolite, which is why I have that tech on there so that it could work. So that's cool. So that'll be a hopefully working cheeky way of getting rid of its Eviolite that I won't have to worry about it later on in the match. It'll also help to get rid of a Scarf or some kind of item on the Chandelure, which is also nice. So, who to the Raw. But other than that, we have Moonblast and Surf, just dual stab to hit his team. Nothing on his team actually resists both of those, which is nice. So we can click those moves pretty safely against his team, and hopefully start racking up some serious damage. And keep his mons heavily pressured throughout the game, because I definitely want to make sure that I constantly keep pressure on him. That's one way to beat Scott. I've beaten him before, and it's just you have to constantly keep him pressured. If he's not pressured at any point in the match. If he's not pressured at any point in the match, he will take advantage of the tiniest opening. And I definitely don't want to give him any opening at all. So I'm going to have to put in a lot of pressure in this match. A lot. Next up we have Thanks Steve, the Celesteela. With Shed Shell, Leech Seed, Toxic, Protect, Flamethrower. 248 HP, 168 defense with a bold nature, 84 in Spadef, and 8 in speed. Trying to think, what were those EVs for? I know there was a reason for that EV spread. I just cannot think about it for the life of me at this current time. I think I just went with that because it allowed me to not be too KO'd by Stoutland. Guaranteed with any move. Barring obviously potential Z, but I think this spread just kind of gave me the best bet to eat hits from everything on his team. The lack of Spadef is obviously scary with things like Chandelure running around, but that's the only real special mon on this team that threatens me besides Magnezone. And kind of Keldeo, but Keldeo, like, I have, like, the cool thing about Tapu Fini is it's a switch into Keldeo 5,000 times a week. I don't have to worry about Keldeo as much with Tapu Fini because Fini just comes in on it easy. So, that's that. I'm not too worried about Keldeo when it comes to Fini. So, we have Leech Seed because we can just fire off Leech Seeds whenever this thing's on the field for whatever wants to come in, just to get an extra form of recovery. As well as Toxics, because Toxics are very important in this match. If we end up in a 1v1, actually, against the... If we end up in a 1v1 against Hippowdon, I will click Toxic, because I feel like he will click Rocks, try to set Rocks up on me, if anything. That's why I do have the spin on my... Cryo. Which actually I might change to Defog. Actually, I'm going to change that to Defog because, just in case, if he does still find a way to preserve his Chandelure or something like that, I want to be able to still get rid of my rocks rid of rocks on my side of the field without really worrying about it. I actually am not. I'm not really worried about rocks as much. Or even Chandelure as much, but I do need to make sure that I keep the rocks gone. So we'll see how that goes, but this thing's just bulky as fuck. It can pretty much stall out a majority of his team. We do have the Shed Sail so that we can't be trapped by Magnezone. We can just pop out into our Bolt Doggo, hopefully get a Lightning Rod boost, and then really, really put a lot of pressure on him. So hopefully that can work out in our favor. And we have Flamethrower because if I think he's going to hard swap into the Magnezone, we can just click the Flamethrower and hit him as hard as we possibly can. I mean, it's not like great damage, but it's also a way that we can kind of 1v1 against the Jirachi. We can seed it and then we can click Flamethrower on it and stuff if we end up in that kind of situation. We will see. But, yeah, that's our Celesteela set, and on to our last mon, which is going to be Hard Body, the Reuniclus. Trick Room, Psychic, Energy Ball, and Hidden Power Ground, Life Orb Regenerator. This mon, I want you to take a look at Reuniclus and take a look back at his team. Under Trick Room, first of all, this thing underspeeds every mono in his team. There's no way in hell, especially once I do this, yoink, that anything on his team can underspeed me, unless it's running an Iron Ball. Other than that, this thing just underspeeds and kills shit. Psychic will blast through things like the Whimsicott. The Chandelure doesn't appreciate. Nothing really appreciates a quiet-natured Psychic from Reuniclus. Like, I'm actually gonna put this one into the calcs real quick. Reuniclus, Hard Body. We're gonna go through this real quick, all right? Let's see. Jirachi. Bulky variant gets 3 code by HP ground, which is totally fine. We'll be under Trick Room, so he can't flinch me to death. Hippowdon gets 2 KO'd by Energy Ball, and like we're putting him to max Spadef, careful, guaranteed 2 KO after Leftovers Recovery, guaranteed 2 KO of Energy Ball. Amazing. Whimsicott. Psychic. blows it back. Blows it back. I just have to be careful if he runs Encore. That's the only thing I'm going to have to scout for. Because if he runs Encore, brings this thing in, and I haven't used an offensive move, he can Encore me into Trick Room and fuck me up. Like, hard fuck me up. Psychic blows back fucking Chandelure. So does HP Ground. If it's taken any prior damage, both of these attacks just kill. Great. Flygon. Look at that. Psychic does 80 to 96. Crazy. Golbat. I'm sure we know where this is going to go. If it's physically defensive, it dies. If it's specially defensive, that's with Eviolite, ladies and gentlemen. We have plenty of ways of just knocking its Eviolite off without problem. Not a problem anymore. Beautiful. Aerodactyl. Mega Arrow. Undersand. Psychic still has a chance to be a 2-hit KO. Psychic can still just 2-hit KO this thing outright. What the hell? That's crazy. In the sand, too. Keldeo, obviously, you know he's getting O-code. Magnezone. How do you fare against a mind you, that's a AV. That's max HP AV Magnezone. 77 to 92%. Crazy, right? Crazy. Absolutely insane. What else do we got here? We got Sharpedo. Sharpedo and your speed boosting? Dog. Let me tell you how Energy Ball goes you. Twice. And then Stoutland. Oh, sweet Stoutland. Psychic does 71 to 84%. If I've chipped his team down at all, and I can get a Trick Room up, I sweep. I literally clean his whole team. I can clean his whole team with Reuniclus. If I've whittled his team down even the littlest bit, I can clean up his squad. What happened? The fuck? Okay. That's a little weird. Thank you all for watching. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm gonna edit probably part of this part out, but we're gonna hop into the battle then. All right. Adios. Alright guys, we are here with our Week 1 battle against Scott and the Thriller Bark Trevenants. You see our team, obviously, you just watched our team builder portion. He brings the Mega Arrow, the Hippowdon, the Jirachi, the Golbat, the Magnezone, and the Whimsicott. So let's hop into this. Obviously, we're switching sides. We want to be on my side. Apology if it's still glitching. I don't know why it doesn't let me change the settings on the Showdown replays, but here we are. So I'm just gonna burn the. I'm gonna fire off the burn first turn, and I end up catching the Whimsicott, getting a little bit of chip damage on it. This thing is the most annoying thing in this entire battle, I swear. So, alright, he's gonna go for the sub here, as he's gonna seed me up. I'm gonna break his sub with the flamethrower, but like, he's going to be getting... He can just sub spam every turn. And even with the burn going on, like, it's not advantageous. But I'm going to go for my flamethrower as he gets into his Golbat here. He's going to U-turn back out into his Hippowdon, as I actually go for a Leech Seed of my own. So I gain back just enough HP that like it pretty much cancels out, which is nice. I throw off a Toxic. I tried to Toxic the Hippo, but he does go into his Golbat, which is a smart play on his part. He misses a Super Fang there, which is actually really clutch for me. I'm going to be able to get that Leech Seed recovery back, so kind of keep things moving. And He's going to U-turn out as I go into my Dusknoir, and again, we're in this situation here where he's going to be able to get the sub up with his Whimsicott, and I can't break the sub with a single Shadow Sneak, and that's a problem, because now he can just seed me, and it's just going to be a constant battle of shit with this stupid Whimsicott. It's getting really old. One of these days I'm just going to draft Whimsicott so that I don't have to play Whimsicott anymore, because this thing's just cancerous and annoying. So he's going to go for the sub here on my Dusknoir switch in. He's going to seed me again. It's fine. I get it. Makes sense. Smart play. Yada yada yada, etc. etc. So the unfortunate thing here is he's going to Encore me. I'm going to go for my Shadow Sneak, and he's going to be able to. He's got enough HP here that he can make a sub. I'm going to go to Celesteela once again. And like, this is just a constant battle. He's going to seed me once again. I go for the Flamethrower to break his sub. And he is going to be still in range of being able to make a substitute, which is very annoying. But he actually goes for the double Leech Seed, predicting me to swap out. So I'm actually able to get rid of his Whimsicott there, which is fantastic for me. So I get my Beast Boost in defense, and he goes into his Magnezone. Now, this is actually a very, very smart play on his part. Very smart prep. He predicted me to be Shed Shell on my Steela for the Magnezone, so he actually went Analytic. I find this out now, or afterwards, which is unfortunate. So he decided to go Analytic instead of Magnapole, which is really, really smart on his part. Very smart prep. And he goes for the Flash Cannon here, and that does so much to my Manectric coming in. Like, with all our HP, if we didn't have all our HP investment, Manectric would have dropped. So, I just Mega Evolve here, and I go for the Volt Switch, as I'm going to pop him, and he's going to go for the HP Ground. So, that is good to know, that he has that HP Ground. Very, very good to know. For future reference. He's going to Volt Switch out to his Jirachi as I go into my Bolt Doggo here. Hindsight, I probably should have just gone for the Toxic here if I wanted to Toxic this Hippo, but I didn't. But, sorry, I just had to check that message. But I'm going to go for the Toxic here, as I kind of predict him not to go for an Earthquake, because that gives Cryo a free switch in. But now I'm going to go out into my Dusknoir, now that he's Toxic, because he's going to get his Rocks up, which is annoying. Because now I'm going to have to try to defog with Cryo if I can at some point. Hindsight, I probably should have brought Fog on Finny this week, but I just needed all the move slots that I had, which, again, also in hindsight, not the biggest fan of that. He's going to U-turn out with his Golbat and bring in his Magnezone, which is going to get burned. The chip's going to be nice. That crit there was... that crit there sucked. This match could have been a lot closer if that crit didn't happen. Because I was, in fact, going for a Pain Split there. And what I was going to do is I was going to Pain Split and let the burn wear him down a bit. And then after the Pain Split and everything, like, we'd be good to go. We would definitely be... I don't think we would have been in range to live another Thunderbolt, but we would have chipped this thing down a lot further so that I can click different moves later in the match that, you know, are safer for me to go for. So, very, very unfortunate for me there. That really, really sucked. And the extra damage on this Magnezone would have been fucking perfect. I would have been so happy to have that damage, but unfortunately we didn't get that, and he did get the crit there, which... of course he did. But, yeah, that's unfortunate. So I'm going to go out into my Manectric here. I'm just going to go for the Flamethrower on the incoming Hippo. And I'm starting to this match is starting to slowly spiral. I'm going to go for my HP Ice now, just to see how much it'll do. He's going to go for the Slack Off, which is fine, because he does have the Toxic on him, so I can kind of still go for this play. he's going to actually go to Jirachi here. So I go for the hidden power again, and he's going to take that. We're going to see here whether he is Scarf Jirachi, and he turns out to be Scarf Jirachi. So that's another thing on the list of problems for me in this match. Now, I'm going to go into my Reuniclus here on the Magnezone, as he's going to Volt Switch out, and I'm going to get up my Trick Room. So the Trick Room offensive Reuniclus is in. Energy Ball is going to wipe out this Hippowdon, and Reuniclus is off to a good start. He goes out to Golbat, and then to bait the Psychic, is going to come into the Jirachi, which is very unfortunate, but now he's going to bait my Hidden Power Ground out onto his Golbat. Now out to his Aerodactyl, and takes the Psychic on the last turn of Trick Room with the Spadef drop, so Aerodactyl is in a very, very bad place right now. I'm going to go out to Finny Nut, so I can maybe take this thing on, and I take the Aerial Ace really nicely, but he is able to pick up... He goes for the Stone Edge and does not kill me, as I go for the knockoff. Now that was definitely a misplay. I figured he would want to try to preserve his arrow, to have something else to take on my Cryogonal, but he did have Rachi. I just figured he would want to keep it, but in hindsight, obviously knockoff was the worst play there. I was kind of trying to catch either the Rachi or the Golbat on switching, but I couldn't. He didn't. So unfortunate, but that was definitely a big misplay there as well on my part. I should have just gone straight for the Moonblast and just killed this thing. Even at 4%, I would have been able to. If you went Golbat, I would have been able to knock it off so that its Eviolite would have been gone, and I would have been able to work with that better and such. But hey, what can you do? So I go back out to Reuniclus here, and I know he can't kill. I know it's a really big roll to kill me, so I'm actually going to go for my Trick Room. I'm going to die to my Life Orb as he goes into his Golbat here. And the problem here now is I am a Specs Cryogonal, and I have to pick a move to lock into. Now, and I'm also a fast Cryogonal in Trick Room, so at this point I know that I lost this match. Because yes, I can kill the arrow here, but I have to lock myself into Freeze Dry, because my other moves are Knockoff, Defog, and HP Ground. And if this thing was gone, if I'd killed it off with Finny, then I would have been, and I would have been fine. I would have been able to lock myself into HP Ground without even having to set up the Trick Room at all, and I would have been fine. I could have even potentially just set up the Trick Room with Reuniclus on something else, and been Gucci good to go, and just cleaned up with HP Ground and whatnot. But unfortunately, that misplay with the Finny was a big deal. So I'm going to have to lock myself into Freeze Dry here. He's going to go Magnezone, actually, to preserve his differential, which is smart, because he knows he's slower than me, and I'm going to die to this Flash Cannon. So, unfortunately, he is able to pick up the 3-0 win in Week 1 here of the PFL. GG to Scott, he played really, really well. The Pain Split damage, actually, now that it comes into play here, because if I'd been able to get that Pain Split off, Magnezone definitely would have lost at least 23% of its HP. So after that Freeze Dry, he actually probably would have died. But at the end of the day, also, I wouldn't have been able to beat the Rachi if I wasn't, since I was locked in. So, very unfortunate. So really, really bad situation there, but whatever. It's fine. Would have at least helped the differential a little bit, I guess, but that's okay. It happens to the best of us. We will bounce back next week, hopefully. But that'll be all for now. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, I'm PokePrimer, signing off. Peace!